Hello, everyone. As you know, my name is Mr. Gonzalez. So today I am out. So a substitute will be here to take care of you guys, make sure everything is running smoothly. I am making this short lesson video on the cell structure and function. So what I want for you guys to know is that today this video is going to be covering over Google slide template that I found that explains everything pretty correctly about the cell function and structure. Afterwards, there will be a worksheet you guys can take home. That way you can work on it and have it ready for the quiz that we will be taking shortly thereafter this lesson. The worksheet is not graded. It is for your own reference. So if you want to do it, it will be a good study guide to use for that quiz. I highly recommend doing it. Besides that, there are some resources that I will be covering at the end of this video that will help you with the homework at home. So again, that worksheet is not graded. It is for your own study tool. Now, going on to the lesson, I'm going to pull it up right now. Here we go. Let me go ahead and bring it to a slideshow view. We will be going over the cell organelles, which is its structure and its functions as well. We will be going over eukaryotic cells. So essential questions are, what are cell organelles? Please take the time to discuss with your group. I'll give you guys about 2 minutes. So the substitute can go ahead and pause the video now and start it up after 2 minutes, okay? Okay, now that the 2 minutes over, I want you guys to go ahead and discuss it with your classmates and let's see. Oh, the next question. What are the structures and functions of cell organelles? You guys can go ahead and guess what we're going to be talking about in this lesson as well. I'll give you guys another 2 minutes, then the sub will go ahead and play the video once again. Okay, so now that you guys conversated about that question, I hope you guys have a general idea or maybe some idea what we're going to be talking about today in this lesson. Another important question is, what are the differences between a plant and animal cell? I'll give you guys 1 minute on this question, okay? So the sub can go ahead and pause it now and then start it up in about a minute. Okay, so now that we got those essential questions out of the way, let's go ahead and go on to the next slide. Cell organelles. The term organelles means little organ. Inside of the body, we have all of our organs, right? We have the stomach, intestines, heart, liver, all those things that make up us, correct? Another word we can think of, little organs are part of a whole. Membrane, the cell is membrane bound, and a lot of them have structures within the cell, and these are only found inside of eukaryotes. A cell's organelles is just like a human's organs. Let's go on to the next slide. Cell membrane. Let's think of the cell membrane as kind of like our skin. Our skin is semi-permeable, same as the cell membrane. You got the phospholipid bilayer. Phospholipid molecule is hydrophilic head, hydrophobic tails. And the animation on the bottom left, you see that these, let's call them particles, are going through the cell membrane through passive diffusion. And it looks like the water molecule is going into the hypertonic solution. When we think about this, it's kind of like our skin, how we can absorb water. In this case, water cannot actively go through the hydrophilic heads. I'm sorry, they cannot go through the hydrophobic tails, but they can go through the hydrophilic heads, and that's why there's this channel in between those heads. There we go. Here's some more information. You could think of the membrane as like a gate or a big wall. It doesn't want to let anything in. It wants to keep the things that it needs to come in. And again, it allows materials in and out of the cell. Now, when we talk about the cell wall, it's the barrier that surrounds the plant, bacterial or fungal cells. It's outside of the cell membrane. It's a very thick fibrous structure. And as right here at the bottom, you could go ahead and see that it is made of that cellulose fiber, and it provides protection and structure for the cell. Cytoplasm. It's a jelly-like material inside of the cell that keeps everything kind of like floating around, making sure that nothing is bumping into each other and it's not too fluid to the point that it's getting shaken around. In this animation on the bottom right, you could go ahead and see that it is a funny little cartoon, but it just shows the properties of this cytoplasm. You see that the organelles are staying somewhat in place relative to where they are with each other, yet it's still moving around. Now, cytoskeleton. They are protein fibers inside of the cytoplasm. It maintains the shape, structure, and helps move organelles. For that shape and structure, you could kind of think of like pipes and beams inside of a house, or maybe even when you're building like a house, or maybe even like a table, you'll have the like cross sections and things like that to maintain stability so that it doesn't collapse in on itself, but it's not too rigid to the point to where it snaps at any given movement. The nucleus, we could kind of think of the nucleus as the human brain. The nucleus is the cell's control center. It contains chromosomes made of DNA. It's always going to be the easiest organelle to see because of how big that circular section is right here. And it's usually one per cell. There are some cases where there's going to be one per cell. I mean, more than one per cell. The nucleolus is where it makes ribosomes. It's in the nucleus. So if we go back, you see how this is the big section of the nucleus, but right here, it's kind of like the very small middle part inside of it. That's the nucleolus. I don't know if you guys ever seen a tennis ball or a baseball where it's cut in half and you have all these multiple little layers, and right in the middle, it's like the small core. That's how you could interpret the nucleolus to an actual object. Centrioles. These are the things inside of the nucleus, not the nucleus, sorry about that. Inside of the nucleolus, where you have the DNA and the chromosomes. They're centrioles. They pull the chromosomes apart during division. They're made of microtubules. They go to the opposite side of the cell when cell divides. This splits it apart and gets it ready for meiosis or mitosis, and it is only available inside of animal cells. Ribosomes. They're the sites of protein synthesis, which synthesis is another term for just making something. It's found attached to the rough ER, floating free in cytoplasm. And these are all made inside of the nucleus. Right here, we see the little diagram right here. You have the nucleus right here and the nucleolus right here in the very center of the nucleus. And then on the outside of it, you have these kind of, I guess, like wave-like patterns. And these little balls are the ribosomes, and they're associated with the rough endoplasmic reticulum. We call it rough because of how, I wouldn't say jagged, but how separated and wave-like this seems. The endoplasmic reticulum is quite different. It's where protein and lipids are made, not where ribosomes are made. They're attached to the nucleus, and then the rough ER is studded with the ribosomes. These ribosomes make proteins, and the smooth ER contains no ribosomes. They make lipids and get rid of toxins. Let's see. The Golgi apparatus, it stores, modifies, and packages proteins. Molecules transported to or from the Golgi are in vesicles. You see right here, these little cups are vesicles from the ER. They don't actually look like cups. I'm sure that the diagram just cut it in half so you guys can see the inside of it. But yes, these molecules are basically inside of these little balls. Let me see if I could restart the animation. The vesicles take these and they take it all the way to the Golgi apparatus to where they become attached or absorbed. And vacuoles, what we just talked about, they store food, water, proteins, waste, etc. And the Golgi apparatus takes care of it. The large central water vacuoles are usually in plant cells. So the vacuole is like a big, think of it like a big storage facility instead of plant cells. They're not small vacuoles like animals have. And here it goes. It says right here, many small vacuoles are in animal cells. Lysosomes, they break down waste. Think of it like the cell's garbage disposal. When we talk about humans, when we eat food, we kind of dispose of it through the intestines and it comes out somewhere else um, with our digestive enzymes. We can think of the lysosome as that. The mitochondria, you might have heard that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. The better way to describe it is that it breaks down food to provide energy. It's somewhat of like the cell's stomach. It uses oxygen and glucose to make ATP, which is the cell's energies molecule. Chloroplasts, those are only available inside of plant cells. There's a side of food glucose production, which is a result of photosynthesis as well. They are green because of the pigment chlorophyll and have a double membrane. So a big question that I wanted to ask you earlier, the essential question is, how can you tell the difference between a plant and animal cell? We have right here the answers to that. You have the animal cells on the left, plant cells on the right. Animal cells are smaller, plant cells are larger. Animal cells have no chloroplasts, plants do. Animal cells have no cell wall. We have a cell membrane. The plant cells have a cell membrane and a cell wall. Animal cells has no or small vacuoles. Plant cells have large central vacuoles. Animal cells have a nucleus at the center. Plant cells have their nucleus towards the cell wall. Let's see if we could go ahead and go back there and check that out, actually, because I don't think it was covered in these slides. So right here is a plant cell. You could tell by the rigid structure. It's not really circular. It's more of, I guess you would say, geometrical in shape. You see the nucleus over here. That's towards the cell wall, correct? That's not in the center of it's not in the center of the cell. Right here, we have a spherical cell. That's how you can tell it's an animal cell as well. But also the nucleus is towards more in the center. It's not attached to the cell wall by any means. Let's go ahead and go back to where we were at. Here's another way to look at the plant versus animal cells. If you don't like the last way it was set up in table form, we also have a Venn diagram. And then here's just a recap slide. This is a good source you guys can use to go ahead and fill out that worksheet to go ahead and summarize some of the functions of the organelles inside of the cell. That concludes our lesson today. I know we kind of went through things fast. This is really just for the sub to go ahead and show you guys and get used to. This is going to be available on our Google Classroom. So I will provide a link for that on our Google Classroom as well. You can feel free to look through it again. I will be posting this lecture video as well. So if you need auditory help, this will be available for those who are more of listeners, not visual learners. Not only that, but there is another more in-depth video that I found on YouTube. I will credit him and provide a link as well for those of you who want to watch more of a not enjoyable video, entertaining video, I will say. If you guys need more help on that when you're at home. Again, the worksheet is not graded. It is, think of it as more of notes to prepare you for the quiz after tomorrow's lesson. Not only that, let's see here. I believe I can actually show you guys some of it. I'll just go ahead and go through it one more time. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and go out. We also have this. This is the Mr. Fox Science Classroom. This is the YouTube video that I was talking about. I'll go ahead and provide a link to that. And here's the cell organelle worksheet. These red ones are the answers. So I'm just going to go through this real quick. I will be taking those out of the worksheet because I really want you guys to focus on that. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys did really good for the sub, and then I hope that the sub leaves a good note for everybody. I try to make it easier on you guys for today. Consider this like a easy work day for you guys. And then also wanted to make sure that the sub wasn't too overwhelmed with anything. And I hope they had an enjoyable time in our classroom. With that being said, I hope everyone has a good day and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.